Hello everyone and welcome to another segment of Doors Update News, the only place where you can find someone combining theorizing about lore with speculation about what's to come to the game. Today I'd like to talk about the third architect, more commonly known as the Red Light. This is the third light character which can be found in the game alongside Guiding Light and Curious Light, and I use the word found loosely there. You see, although there is a ton of evidence pointing to this character's existence, such as the Room 60 painting, unlike with the other architects, we have never met them face to face, oddly enough. Now, this in and of itself is very strange, as the third architect was first hinted at in the game ever since the Hotel Plus update released over a year ago, and despite that, they haven't had any direct character development unlike Guiding Light and Curious Light. This leads me to believe that two things are either going to happen with this character, that being either the reveal will be very big and unexpected, or it won't happen at all. And that is what I want to discuss today. We will be diving into the future of the third architect in Roblox Doors. So with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so something you should all know is that the most definitive sign that you're in the presence of an architect is if you see their sparkles. Although this isn't the only way to tell, it is the most concrete. So far in the game, we have never seen the third architect's sparkles, which I presume to be red given how that is the color of their symbol. But even then, there are three locations which they are theorized to appear in. The first are modifiers. Given how modifiers and the red light share the same symbol, it's likely the red light is directly responsible for the effects of modifiers. Secondly, there's the room's barrier. As previously stated, modifiers are likely the responsibility of the red light, and if you attempt to access the rooms with any enabled, a large red barrier will prevent you from reaching the subfloor. This barrier, although not having sparkles, is red in color just like the third architect, and in addition to it only being seen when modifiers are activated, it also features these triangle particles which only appear in other areas associated with the architects, such as the rifts. Lastly, and this one is somewhat debated, I, as well as others, believe that the crucifix failing when used on boss entities is the result of the red light, given how the sigil turns red and how it was originally blue due to its connection with Guiding Light, meaning it only makes logical sense that it should turn red if it's connected to the red light. Now, as I had mentioned before, the player has talked face to face with both Guiding and Curious Light, but we have never talked to the red light before. Now, one reason I suspect this to be the case is that it appears that based on the evidence which we previously described, that the red light is actually against us. After all, modifiers technically make the game more challenging, and if the red light is responsible for making the crucifix fail on certain occasions, then it would mean that they are intentionally freeing the entity so they can attack us again. So, seeing how the architects primarily talk to us after each death to aid us in our journey, and how it appears that the red light is against us, them not talking to us simply could just be the result of them being against us. If this is the case, then it means I highly doubt that they would ever talk to us at all, meaning we would likely never be able to see a death screen involving them. So, for the future of Doors, it's possible that the third architect would just be a silent antagonist, for lack of a better word, meaning they would still be somewhat of a threat and an important character to the story, but they wouldn't directly interact with the player. Although, that is just one of few possible outcomes which could happen for this character, and it may be unsatisfying for some if we never get to speak with them directly. So, let's look at the other side of this argument and see how we could interact with the red light if given a chance. As you all probably know, Guiding Light is in charge of main floors, whereas Curious Light is in charge of subfloors, and we interact with both of those characters by dying in those two types of floors respectively. So this means that it's likely that the third architect would interact with the player in a different way. Now, although it's possible that they would be encountered by dying in a subfloor or a main floor, I think it's much more likely that we meet them by dying with modifiers activated. After all, as we previously described, modifiers are controlled by the red light, and given how we can't interact with Guiding Light whilst any are activated, it's possible that in a future update, if we die whilst any are activated, we would meet the red light face to face. Additionally, we know that the very next update is a modifiers update, so that would be the perfect time to add this feature. However, even if that does happen to be the case, what would this character be like? If you recall, Guiding Light is completely helpful, whereas Curious Light is neutral. So, seeing how the red light appears to be against the player, I think it's possible that in their dialogue, they would try to prevent you from succeeding. One idea I had is maybe they would spread misinformation to you, telling you ways to fail and playing it off as if they were ways for you to succeed, although that would be a little mean. Another idea I had is maybe they would belittle or mock you, but I think that isn't likely, as Curious Light already does that, so it would be kind of redundant if two characters had that same quality. Another thought I had is maybe the red light would communicate to you in a way you couldn't be able to understand. For example, more important messages within the game, such as the hidden message and the crucifix sigil, are typically written in the Wingdings font, meaning they have to be translated in order to be perceivable. So what if the third architect solely spoke in this font, making it much harder for players to decipher what they are saying? That idea is mostly speculation, but I think it could be pretty cool if added. Now, one last thing I would like to mention is that there is a chance for the red light to appear in the upcoming garden subfloor, which has been discussed on this channel numerous times. However, given how, as I had stated previously, that Curious Light already takes the role of the entity you meet after each death in each subfloor, I feel that it is much more likely for them to be the face you meet in the garden subfloor rather than the third architect. Still, it is a slight possibility, but I personally think if we were ever to meet them, they would have their own unique way of appearing, such as through dying with modifiers active as I had previously described. So, to summarize, given all of the evidence around the red light currently in the game, I believe that there are two possible outcomes for their character. For one, there is a chance that we never meet them face to face, meaning they would just be a silent threat who lurks in the shadows, never interacting with us directly. For the other outcome, we may be able to meet the red light in a future update, potentially by dying with modifiers activated. And when we do meet them, they would either spread misinformation or be incoherent, as that seems to fit their character. So, with all of that being said, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are over this character, and thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoy.